family, we are live, broadcasting live. This is the Conversation Room 101. Make sure it's only adults in the house. I need your mind to be open, prepared, and relaxed. Welcome to our home. Take your shoes off. We got some rules we need to go over. Be kind. No cursing in the chat. If you want to curse, call in. And no shouting out other channels. That's a no-no. We got one other rule. There is no judging our guests. It will not be permitted. Zero tolerance. And if so, you want to do that, guess what? We got security. And we will escort you out. Because over here, hashtag we don't care. We're going to be one big family. We're going to laugh together sometimes. We're going to cry. But we definitely going to pray. I thank the Lord above for everything. I lift him up and give him the glory. But you guys, right now, we're going to get our popcorn. And then we're going to see what's going on. And let me just park my car. And I'll be in there in a minute. I'll see you real soon.
The Copyright Disclaimer Act. The Copyright Disclaimer Act under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comments, news, reporting, teaching, scholarships, and research. Fair use is used permitted by copyright statutes that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use.
Hey family. How's everybody doing? Thank you guys for showing up. Trying to get some things together. I'm changing things around. I see Pearls of Wisdom is in the building. I want to thank everybody for showing up. Coming on in here, we're going to be talking about two cases today. We're going to be talking about the California City Boys and the update on that and what's been said and going on. You guys are going to hear it. You probably already heard it. I don't know if you have. They went to court Tuesday. Today's Wednesday, so they went to court Tuesday. And they were saying some stuff, and I want everybody to hear what they said. Hey, Lisa Reeves is in the house. Lisa Reeves is in the building. How are you, Cherie? Avalanche, Zena, Carolyn, Cherie, Little Linda, Pearls of Wisdom is in here. Sonia, T-Star. Let me see who else is in here. Ruby, T-Star, Camellia, Joyce, Freddie, Lisa Calhoun, Wanda Belsme, KMB, Ruby Turner, and Crystal Powers, Avalanche, come holla at a sister, Katrina, Marcia. There's names I probably did not get to, you guys. You guys know that the computers is all over the place. Cheryl C is in here. Nancy LaRose. I've told everyone from day one that anytime that there's an update, we can still speak on it. It's just the people, even though that they have a gag order, we can speak on it. They can't stop us from speaking on it. So a lot of people didn't understand what that meant. They was like, oh, you can't be talking about that case. We can talk about all we want. Judge ain't said nothing to me. Did the judge say something to y'all? Because if the judge told y'all to hush up, then you in the wrong room because you are a witness. Hey, Margie, I see you in the building. How's everybody doing? Thank you guys for showing up. We're going to get right on into it. I do want to, I just, sometimes I like to come in here and just see who's all in the building. Loving God, Nancy, Marcia, Diane. And I want to tell you guys, I appreciate you guys for coming on in. Pearls of Wisdom had won some tickets. She took the ticket choice for Sharon. Because you guys know Sharon is caring. When we have our Christmas in July, we're going to give out money this time. We're not going to give out gifts. And so she donated her tickets to two people. She donated one ticket to Sanja Watch, and she donated one ticket to Freddie. So one of these tickets is Sonya Watts, and one of these tickets is Freddie's tickets. They got the same number on them, 938364. So I'm letting everybody know the tickets are for those two. And anytime you want to donate your tickets, make sure everybody say thank you, Pearls of Wisdom, because Sharon is Karen, and she wanted those tickets to go there. Hey, Tina. Tina's in the building. I see Tina Ape is in here. Or App. Maybe App. Anyway. Hey, Polly. I see you in here. How you doing, Polly? Nice to have you in here. That is very kind, isn't it? Yeah. Anyway, you guys, we're going to get right into it. I saved one of our family members sent the article to me, and I want to share it with you guys. Let me go out and I'll come back in, but let me get to where did she okay, she shared it over here. Yes, she did. um because I was trying to let me see here. Oh Lord. Okay, there must be another way I can do it. Come on, we'll do it like that. Hold up. There's more ways to take care of stuff like that. And all you got to do is just be a little patient. Just be a little patient. And we'll go right into it. Oh, that's strange. Hmm. Hold on. Hold on, family. I got it right here. But I must try it over here. We're going to get right on into it. Okay. Okay. We'll do it over here. Okay. Are you guys ready? Put a one in the chat if you guys are ready. I told you we're going to get right off into it. Okay, I got it right here. We'll get to here. Okay. Because for some reason, things is all over the place, and I'm sorry for that, but we'll. Okay, we got some ones in the chat. Okay, here we go. Okay, here we go.
Fill your glasses from start to finish. A Kern County judge heard a motion Tuesday in the murder case of two California City toddlers' adopted parents, which sought to prevent the couple from contacting their biological and adopted children. Trust, just a quick word from our sponsor. The federal 35 and Jacqueline West, 32, have pleaded not guilty to 2 felony charges of second-degree murder, 2 felony charges of willful cruelty to a child, and a misdemeanor charge of falsely reporting an emergency in the deaths of adoptive children Orson, 3, and Orrin West, 4. The Wests also have 2 other adopted children and 2 biological kids. Deputy District Attorneys Brian Eastep and Eric Smith filed a criminal protective order against the West to remove their visitation rights with those 4 children. Defense attorney Alexia Torres-Stallings said during a morning hearing in Kern County Superior Court the prosecution's motion seeks to stop the parents from talking about the case with the kids or persuading or intimidating them. The prosecutors provided no evidence that the parents were doing so, other than filing the charges against the Wests, she added. However, the indictment against the Wests included an allegation that they induced a minor to commit or assist in the commission of the crime. It is unclear if Judge Chad A. Louis granted the prosecutor's motion or adjudicated any other matter regarding the filing, because the public was barred from the afternoon hearing where it was scheduled to be heard. When the public was allowed into the courtroom, Torres-Stallings and Tim Hennessy, representing Jacqueline and Trezel West, respectively, said they received the criminal protective order, but there was no explanation as to what that meant or what was decided. At the hearing earlier in the day, Torres-Stallings said their clients visited their children twice a week for the past 10 months. These meetings were monitored. The Wests also underwent strict drug and alcohol testing while attending parenting classes, she said. After the Wests were in custody, the visitation schedule was modified to one visit per month either in person or virtually, she added. Torres-Stallings said she believes the parents will visit the children virtually, thereby removing a need for the criminal protective order. In another matter, Judge Louis granted the prosecutor's request to modify the gag order to include all motions, declarations, and exhibits filed in the case. A spokeswoman for Kern County Department of Human Services, under which Child Protective Services operates, declined to comment Tuesday, citing the gag order. However, spokeswoman Jana Slagle previously answered the Californians' emailed questions about custody issues, without speaking directly about the West case. Removing a child from a parent's custody and then determining the fitness of a parent is a long process, Slagle wrote in the email. Those legally authorized to remove children include law enforcement and child protective services agencies, Slagle wrote at the time. After the removal, several court hearings ensue and each parent and child are provided with attorneys, she added. A court must decide if reasonable cause exists to place a child into protective custody. A foster parent, or an approved relative, can receive the child, she wrote. Throughout the hearing process, the parent is given a case plan to follow, asked to continually visit their child and take classes that may address why the child was removed for safety reasons, Slagle previously wrote. For example, if a child was being physically abused, the parent would need to attend court-ordered classes to help him or her learn new ways to parent and possibly attend anger management or substance abuse prevention classes, Slagle wrote, not commenting directly on the West case. Typically, a parent gets a 6-month plan to complete, which is monitored by the court, social workers, and attorneys. If a parent completes the plan, they can reunite with their children. If not, they could potentially lose custody, she added. This is a long process, Slagle wrote. Visitation orders are often implemented when parents seek to rehabilitate themselves and regain custody of their children, said paralegal Eric Miranda of Kilpatrick and Associates, a law office specializing in child custody and visitation that is not involved in the West case. It's to ensure that the relationship doesn't necessarily die with incarceration, Miranda said. They want to ensure that there's still that familial bond unless there is an absolute 100% need to terminate the parental rights. Terminating parental rights is like a last-ditch effort.
Next article.
In an effort to create a cap.
Wow. Okay, you guys. Did you guys understand? Did you hear what was said? If not, I will repeat it. I know I was coughing a little bit. Something just went in my throat. She said, I'm doing typing today. Fingers are numb. Excuse typos. Okay. You okay? Soldier girl. Did you guys hear it? Did you get anything out of that? If you didn't understand what was said, I will share with you again what they were saying. Matter of fact, I can actually go over it if you didn't hear, and we can just, she said, yes, I heard that. Okay. It says Kern County judge had heard a motion Tuesday in the murder case of the 2 California City toddlers' adoptive parents, which sought to prevent the couple from contacting their biological and adopted children. Trezel, 35, and Jacqueline West, 32, have pleaded not guilty to 2 felony charges of second-degree murder, 2 felony charges of willfully cruelty to a child, and a misdemeanor charge of falsely reporting on emergency in the death of adoptive children Orson 3, and Orrin West 4. The West also have 2 other adoptive children and 2 biological kids. Deputy District Attorney Bryant, and it's telling about Epstein and Eric Smith. I'll just say the district attorney filed a criminal protective order against the West to remove their visitation rights with those other 4 children, you guys. They want to remove them from visiting the children. Defense attorney Alexa Stalling, that is Jacqueline's attorney, said during a morning hearing in Kern County, the prosecution's motion seeks to stop the parents from talking about the case with the kids or persuading or intimidating them. The prosecutors provided no evidence that the parents were doing so other than filing the charges against the West, she added. Well, of course, they're not just going to come out and say, well, this kid said this kid said that, because then you got to wait for the discovery, and then they got to keep certain witnesses protected. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know how this is going to happen. But anyway, you guys, that's what the argument right now in court is all about. And then it says, however, the indictment against the West includes an allegation that they induced a minor to commit or assist in the commission of the crime. Let me read that part again. However, the indictment against the West included an allegation that they induced a minor to commit or assist in the commission of the crime. It is unclear if the judge granted the prosecutor's motion or adjudicated any other matter regarding the filing, because the public was barred from that afternoon hearing where it was scheduled to be heard. So they told the public that you're excused, you cannot hear the rest. We're going into the chambers. And exactly. You guys understand? And so let me see. And so anywho's, what's going on in the chat? It is unclear. Okay. So it was scheduled to be heard when the public was allowed. It was allowed in the courtroom. Okay. Let me back up. It is unclear if Judge Chad granted the prosecution's motion, adjudicated any other matter regarding the filing, because the public was barred from the afternoon hearing where it was scheduled to be heard. When the public was allowed into the courtroom, Torres and Tim, representing Jacqueline and Trezell, respectfully said they received the criminal protective order, but there was no explanation as to what that meant or what was decided. At the hearing earlier in the day, Torres said their client visit their children twice a week for the past 10 months. These meetings were monitored. The West also underwent strict drug and alcohol testing while attending parenting classes, she said. After the West were in custody, the visitation schedule was modified to 1 visit a month, either in person or virtually, she added. Torres said she believes the parents will visit the children virtually, thereby removing a need for the criminal protective order. So their attorney is willing to say, hey, let's let them visit the kids via Zoom or whatever. So there's no reason to have a protective order for the children. In another matter, judge granted the prosecutor's request to modify the gag order to include all motions, declarations, and exhibits filed in the case. So a spokesperson, remember, they wanted the gag order to be on the witnesses also. A spokeswoman for Kern County Deputy of Human Services, under which Child Protective Services operate, declined to make a comment, citing the gag order. That's why they can't comment. There's a gag order. There's nobody that can speak on this. The Attorney General can't speak on it. The Commissioner can't speak on it. The police can't speak on it. The attorneys can't speak on it. However, the spokeswoman previously answered the California's email questioning about custody issues without speaking directly about the West case. So someone addressed the spokesperson for Kern County Department of Human Services. She says she's not speaking directly on the California City Boys, Orrin and Orson, or Classic and Sincere, Jacqueline and Trezel's situation. But this is what she said: removing a child from a parent's custody and then determining the fitness of a parent is a long process. Those legal authorized to remove children, including law enforcement and child protective services agencies, wrote at the time, after the removal, several court hearings ensure and each parent and child are provided with an attorney's. She also added, a court must decide if reasonable cause exists to place a child into protective custody. A foster parent or an approved relative can receive the child. She also wrote, throughout the hearing process, the parent is given a case plan to follow, asking to continually visit their child and take classes that may address why the child was removed for safety reasons. She also says, for example, if a child was being physically abused, the parents would need to attend court-ordered classes to help him or her learn new ways to parent and possibly attend anger management or substance abuse prevention classes. On the West case, directly, she says, wrote, she's not commenting directly on the West case. She's typically a parent gets a 6-month plan to complete. This is Kern County. You get a 6-month plan to complete, which is monitored by the court, social workers, and attorneys. If a parent completes the plan, they can reunite with their children. If not, they could potentially lose custody, she added. This is a long process. Visitation orders are often implemented when parents seek to rehabilitate themselves and regain custody of their children. This is what a paralegal says. They specialize, is Eric Miranda of Kilpatrick and Association and Law Office. They specialize in child custody and visitations that is not involved in the West case, but they say it's to ensure that the relationship doesn't necessarily die with incarceration. Miranda also said that want to ensure that there's still that family bond or family bond, unless there is an absolute 100% need to terminate the parental rights. Terminating parents' right is like a last-ditch effort. Everybody understand what was said. If you don't, we can hear it again so you can get a little bit more of a definition on it. I'll play it at the end if you want me to. So if anybody wants to record it without me coughing or whatever, it's all good. Okay. Hey Tammy, how you doing? Tammy Baker's in the house. Hey Polly, how you doing? So anyway, you guys, I just received this maybe an hour before coming on here. And I actually had in my mind to talk about the Sophie case because there's a lot of information on that. I want everybody to keep classic and sincere still in your prayers, you guys. Everybody was all happy because they got arrested. Here's the thing. They need to follow their own routes. Oh, okay. I'm doing great. Oh, you okay? Okay. Anybody got anything they want to address? I am going to put an invite up here. You could come up or you could call in. Not everybody run to the phones or come in at the same time. Just come on in. I will tell you, I'm just going to share it real quick. I hate to do this, but I want you guys to know that we are following the Sophie Mascon case. And that's the 8-year-old young lady that they found in the home. And the mother was like, I don't know where she at. And she told the grandmother, which is her adopted mother, next time you see me, it's just going to be me and you. Well, on that situation, you guys, I want you guys to know that they have confirmed that they were locking the boyfriend, have been locking the little girl up in the shed. And the mother, sometime in December, went to the shed to let the little girl out, and she had feces all over her. And the mother and the boyfriend, I won't say the father, the mother and the mother's boyfriend, both has been sexually abusing the girl. It has been confirmed. And the boyfriend is still on the run. So we'll get more off into that. I just wanted you guys to know what the update is on there. They're still looking for him. They can't find him. We're going to post this picture on our community board so everybody can take a good look. He's a truck driver, so he knows a lot of places. Let's see. We got Zan in the building. Hey, Zan.
Hey, SP, how you doing this evening?
I'm doing pretty good.
Hello, family. How's everybody doing? I'm really disappointed that they are even considering allowing those parents to still see their children.
Exactly.
That really disappoints me.
And
not just because of the allegations.
Well,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
If they're witnesses, they're caught between a rock and a hard spot. They could be witnesses, but they're children.
Yes, and it's easy to intimidate a child. It only takes a look from a parent.
Exactly. Or just seeing that parent again, thinking that you're safe and you done spoke, seeing that parent again, you can pretty much almost change your whole statement now because that parent ain't got to be in the same room with you.
Right.
And that's what they're fighting right now. But her attorney said they're gonna have their visitation virtual, so there's no need for
it amazes me that they're going to such lengths to accommodate these criminals. They're going to great lengths to accommodate them. That scares me. Like maybe they don't have the case that they have led us to believe initially. Or that we hope to believe.
You thinking they don't have enough of a case?
Yes.
Well, why? Well,
because they're stepping all over themselves now to make sure that there's no rights being uh, damaged, or you know what I'm saying? They're doing everything that they can to accommodate these people so that they can't come back and say, well, you denied me of the privilege of bonding with my child or whatever. I've never seen a child that was currently in the state's custody even begin to be able to have visitation with a child, with a parent that was incarcerated. I've never seen the state do that.
well, um, I don't believe that they're gonna. I don't believe that they're gonna get visitation, but that they do have the rights. It's their child, and if they lose their rights of seeing the child and then found not guilty, then the state gonna be like, oh, okay, you can't keep me from my own kid. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, they want everybody to do right stuff. When they were in the middle of, someone put in the channel, they didn't give Ryan the same amount of respect.
Exactly.
But
Exactly.
but see, here's what you're dealing with. You're dealing with the world now knows that these children, because one of the things that the lady said, she said they're dead. She didn't say they possibly, she said no, they're dead. And so that was a kind of emotional thing there, because it just took everybody back. And 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 everybody's like, what? I mean, there's no presumption. There's no, I got an opinion, you got an opinion. When she said that, it was like a knife. And
Right.
okay, so that tells me that you should have enough evidence, regardless if they're looking at this parent. You've already got it recorded. You already got, but you got to record it and everything. But it comes down to, with like, if these kids may have to take the stand, they may not be in front of everybody, but they have to be in front of the judge and things of that.
Exactly.
And seeing their mother, and they can do, like you said, that little eye. Because I would give Pooh Bear, and then Pooh Bear be like, he just freeze, like, okay, I know I'm in trouble, or Granny. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Shannon,
Hmm.
I see you in the building. Shannon's in the building. How you doing? And
Hey, Shannon.
that's Shannon um, Bennett. But you could. Um, what do you think?
I don't know. It's scary to think about it, SP. Um, because I've never seen the state go to these lengths when a child is already not in the parental custody. I've never seen CPS go to those lengths to make sure that a child and their parents can still have visitation or whatever, because these kids have been in protective custody all this time.
Yeah, they have. And you know what? They've been seeing these kids for the whole 10 months. They said two times a week. They've been taking. You remember when Wanda West had got on some kind of app or something? I can't remember what it was, but she wrote out this long statement. We read it, and she was like, we put the kids in protective custody, and it's like they had a like they had a choice, like they did it on themselves. And now she knows what her job is and why she here. You remember when Wanda came out with that long lame
I
you know,
remember her coming out with a statement, but I did not remember that she tried to say that they put the children in protective
oh
custody.
yeah, oh yeah. She tried to say that it was their decision to put the children in protective custody. And the reason why the Lord put her down here on earth is so because now she knows why she's here. Like, you know what I'm saying? She did. I got a good memory. That's one thing I can remember because I was like, why is she trying to act like they did this?
Right.
Yes, she tried to put a smooth spin on it. Yeah, she tried to make it sound like, oh yeah, we put the kids in protective custody, like somebody was trying to get the other kids, or there was some ransom money, or somebody didn't get paid. She tried to make it seem like, oh, our best interest is in all the kids, not and but so these other kids are in danger, so we made sure we got them in protective custody. Girl, please, you go sit down somewhere.
Yes.
I was so mad about that. I was like, she lying. Ain't no way she gonna put her kids in protective custody. They took them kids from them. And that told us a whole bunch right there.
I have one other concern, SP.
What's that?
That is that I'm gonna just be honest. When Ryan had disappeared from the public spotlight
Mm-hmm.
initially,
Mm-hmm. You mean
down
after
after the
okay.
kids had been taken, and uh, a couple of months afterwards, after them looking and stuff, Ryan kind of relocated herself. We haven't seen her very much.
Okay, hold on. Okay. This is after you mean after it just kind of went all over the place and then there
Right,
was people talking about her and all of that?
right.
Okay.
And I'm not gonna lie, deep in my heart of hearts, I was kind of hoping that maybe she went into hiding because she had contact with the boy. You know,
Yeah.
and the fact that we haven't seen her, like the father's being very vocal, he's speaking out as well as filing charges, and we haven't heard anything from Ryan.
Well, um, I can't remember who told me. Somebody told me, and this is just hearsay. I really don't even want to put it out, but somebody was telling me that the father is suing Ryan too.
Yes, yes,
I don't know if
that
that's
is
true
true.
or not.
That she supposedly is part of this case against Kern County.
Right. I don't
So
know.
that would
I
make
don't
me
know if that's
assume that,
true. I don't know if that's true because I would have a lot to say on that, and I don't even want to step in that arena. I just don't because at the end of the day, at the end of the day, it is CPS's job to find out if that child is biologically this father or not before they go do what they
right.
do. I don't care what Ryan done told him. I mean, you know what I'm saying? What mother will not sit there and say, "Is this?" Let me tell you something. I'm gonna just be honest with you. When my niece was in custody, they went through a whole bunch of men saying this is the mama said this daddy, this daddy, this daddy, this daddy, this daddy. And then finally they said, hey, you know what? We're not even gonna we're gonna go ahead and adopt the baby out. And then she finally told who the daddy was. And then guess what? Then they had to go do the blood test. Then they had to go do the blood test to make sure that he was the father.
So she really knew who the father was all along now.
Well, Who knows? I don't know. I haven't talked to her.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? She probably did. She probably didn't. Who knew? Who knows? That's like sometimes you may want this guy to take care of the baby because all the other babies is his, or, he's a good provider or whatever. So, and then you may think that the baby is, or maybe not, the baby's not, or whatever. I mean, I just put it like this. We got kids in our family right now. We don't know if the daddy is really the daddy or not, but you know what? They hear, they say it. That's it. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? You say the baby yours, then now, okay, then the baby's mine. You know what I mean? And we just
Right.
do that. But what your mama would always say? The baby is always mama's baby, but daddy's maybe. Period.
Right.
Point. Whether she knew it or not, it don't matter. Even if I was Ryan and I didn't want them to adopt my kids out, I would tell them any name other than to get that child not adopted out. I'll tell them it was Santa Claus.
Okay.
Would you not? So she was struggling trying to keep, I guess, to keep, to get more time to, I'm not trying to make no sense into it. I'm just saying that's just common sense to me, why a person would do that. So when I look at the whole situation, I say, now we're here. We're not at A anymore. We're way down here to D, G, F, and then people coming out saying, hey, where was you when all this stuff happened? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I mean, people don't think about that, but trust and believe, you really got to think about that, because especially even the people that adopt kids or whatever, and like I've been in that situation. Like I said, I don't like to use my situation because it just tells too much about my family and everything. But I tell you guys, you can raise a kid up and then people be like, SP did this, SP did that. But where was you when they were running through my house and trying to figure out, why I got a cage over here and how much money I got in the bank, and I'm putting my house up for sale, and you know what I'm saying? Trying to get this kid and
Right.
going to classes. Where all of you guys was at? Y'all was smoking your smoke. You were drinking your drink. You were partying. Y'all was going on cruises and catching planes and stuff. I'm sitting here with your child. Where was y'all at? And you know what? That kid will never know. That
Exactly.
kid be like, that's my mama, that's my daddy. They love me. Girl, I don't even want to speak on it because I wouldn't even speak positive on it. But I'm just gonna say, if I had a choice to do it again, would I do it? No, I would not.
Mm. That
But
speaks volumes.
I'm glad that I did do it. But if I would have known all the trials and tribulations that came with that task, I wouldn't have put my family, my kids through that, and myself through that.
Right.
But it saved a child. But I'm not saying I'm going to do that again. I'll never do that again. Because what normally happens is the kid grows up and the kid wants to bond and connect to their biological, sometimes they do, parents that is, only thing I could say, I don't know where my niece would have ended up. She's got a good life. And I thank God. I thank my mom for talking me into it. But can't nobody in this world talk me into doing something of that nature again, ever. No, I would never do it.
Mm.
Once is enough for me. It's a lot. And them kids, when a kid, everybody want to feel like they got a mama. Everybody want to feel like they got a daddy. Everybody want to feel love. kids grow up without a mama or daddy, and they don't understand where that love is just not saying you my mama, you my daddy, or whatever. The love come in who was there, or who tried to
Exactly.
be there, or who tried to be there. You know what I'm saying? So I don't really say too much about Ryan, because sometimes people just don't get it right. You know what I'm saying? I've never spoke bad of the young lady, and I'm not going to speak bad of her now. I'm not going to speak bad of the father. I'm just saying, hey, I look at both situations, but I also look at the beginning and where was everybody when this stuff started going downhill. That's what
Right.
that that's what I would look at if I was a judge. Where was everybody at? Because it didn't just happen overnight. Like the woman said, it takes months and months and years before they take your rights away. And I
Well,
didn't,
and
my
this
niece,
is another thing.
go ahead.
Um, if anyone is familiar with Kern County,
Mm-hmm,
and I think I shared with you that my daughter went to school in the
mm-hmm,
Kern County School District,
mm-hmm,
and so I had my own little issue with them because my child was developmentally disabled, and they felt like, I'm not sure what they felt like. It was almost crazy, but my daughter, because she was developmentally disabled, still had toileting accidents up until maybe 6 or 7.
mm-hmm.
Um, and so she wore the back then they just had the adult diaper type things.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because she had grown out of the normal depends or whatever, and they tried to step in and tell me it was because I hadn't attempted to potty train her and wasn't doing what I was supposed to do. My daughter is disabled. Trust
Mm-hmm.
me, I've tried to potty train her.
Mm-hmm.
She just has accidents. I know 6-year-old kids that are not even disabled that still have accidents.
Mm-hmm.
So you telling me you're spending all this money having a worker come to talk to me and want to evaluate my kids because my daughter had an accident at school?
Right.
And it was just really weird to me. And after looking back on just other people I know that had instances with them and remembering back to that and looking at this uh, case with the California boys, it makes me wonder if you had the right connections within CPS, were they shopping those kids around? Like, a child can go into the foster system, and usually they're in the foster system for a long period of time.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
But let's suppose you got a family like the West that have those type of connections. The mother came from that background. Jackie's mother came from that background. That you got connections that once all you got to put out there is, hey, I'm looking for boys. I want to adopt boys. And if I get the right boys in my family, we'll adopt them. They won't come back to you.
Right.
Like, are you shopping kids out, certain children, and not putting, the same amount of, what I want to say, of emphasis on reunification as you would with another child because you know you can adopt this child straight out?
Right. Hmm.
It's just, I mean, it might be a wild theory, but
Well, I don't
this
think
day
we
and
will.
age,
Yeah.
I don't, I don't put anything past anybody.
Exactly. Exactly. I wouldn't
SP,
either.
I thank you for having me up here.
Well, I
I'm gonna
thank you
get
for
out the
coming
way.
on up.
I'm gonna get out the way so someone else can come up and go back into the chat. You have a good evening.
All right, you too.
Thank you
Thank
so much for all that you do for us and for these babies. We appreciate you.
you. Well, thank you. Stay on the phone, okay?
Okay.
Um, um, dear Candace, you're in the chat. You say you can call in Friday. You call in Friday and chat with us. She says she have to go back to work. That's fine. She's on her 10-minute break is over with. That's fine. If she heard what I said, contact me if you still got the same number. If you don't have the same number, call me, Candace. Somebody put the number up. Let me put it on here real big so she'll see it. I think she still got my number. And we'll talk. Okay. Uh, hey, Miss Betty, how you doing?
Good evening, SB. How are you? I was trying to catch Van before she got down, but
Oh, that's okay. You should have told me. You should have said something.
it's okay. She was talking great points. I think my concern has always been I don't want to talk about the this the system overall, how they do things, because as I know, you know, I thought it was countrywide or worldwide, but I guess it's not. State to state, how they handle children and when they remove them from homes and what have you. Um, because of these cases, I really, in my deciding to come out of work, I'm going to start looking into not fostering, but just getting to know the system better and how they foster kids, how they adopt kids out. Because I've always wondered, how could two young people who already had 4 kids, who basically were not employed for the most part, could take on 2 more kids, and nobody was checking to see if they were I always thought you had to be financially stable.
You are supposed to be financially stable. Um, uh, family, that's not my smoke detector. I'm downstairs and my smoke detector was just checked last month. So I don't know what you're hearing. Okay, go ahead.
And so I know when you foster kids,
Uh-huh.
they give you a stipend. I do know that. But that's not this case. This case is that they were adopted out. I agree with Van. How did they get adopted out so fast? Okay, they said it's a long process. So let's just say she, the parent, and we see, here's another thing: was legal guardianship awarded to the mother? Did she have legal guardianship? Because we know that if she hasn't been given legal guardianship, that's up in the air too. So how did you adopt these kids without their father's signature?
I don't know. They did
I know. I'm just saying.
right.
So
Right. Well, and here's the thing. Okay, the one child, they had the allegation something about a broken femur or whatever, and they took that child. But as soon as she had this baby, they just snatched him.
Right.
She didn't even have time, to go, hey, you a daddy or what? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I mean, once they take the baby, it's like, wow. I mean, why would you go and say, hey, dude, you got a baby? You know what I'm saying?
Right, exactly.
They didn't take the baby. And I don't know if he knew or not, but I'm just saying, they try to adopt them kids.
Before, how these 2 kids, I understand adopting out African American kids is, the list is long. So how did they get to the top of the list? And I'm like, then, are y'all hooked up with the department that, when boys come through, especially, we understand one of them had a slight disability, So y'all looking for the one that you can get the most money from? I'm just trying to understand. So here, but I wanted to get to where we are now. That's back then. Here we are today. They in custody. I got a problem with them talking to the kids.
I do too.
Because it's like you look at you, like we know how to look. We know what the looks mean. They live in the house with them up there, them too. They know if they look a certain way, if they speak a certain way, if they say a certain thing. The person sitting there looking at, listening to them talk is not going to understand that conversation. And then if Jacqueline decides to speak in Spanish, are they going to have an interpreter there?
Well, yeah. But, and here's the other thing too. Here's the other thing. This is what I would like to see. Because, and this may not happen until after they get found guilty or not guilty, because those kids are going to be in, but are they going to take the 2 adopted kids out of, because I would hate for the family to end up with these other kids, because if you thought it was okay for whatever they did with these 2, and you're so gung-ho that God put you on this earth so that you can protect your child, that your child done harmed somebody else's kids, and you thought that was okay, but then now you got a chance to, when these kids, if you do whatever thing they say to do, or the family does everything that they say to do, go to these classes, which Wanda don't have to go classes because Wanda ain't drinking and doing drugs, and she got a stable home, she got income, whatever. She can get those kids. And then you still got a chance with somebody else's kid, and I don't like that.
I think they should investigate the adoption of those 2 kids. Was it done? How was that adoption done?
And here's the thing.
I'm concerned that Miss Wanda will be their saving grace. Those kids will go. I believe the threat is on the 2 adopted kids, not their own kids.
They need to reverse the adoption, and a judge can reverse adoption, but you gotta have some type of evidence, and they don't want to show that evidence. See, what the attorneys are doing right now is saying, hey, you guys are just filed this and said that, this is, but where's the evidence from y'all keeping?
I agree, SP. I think they're trying to force the prosecution before time. Give me what you have. That's why they're coming out saying, well, y'all, they should be able to talk to their kids, and you should be able, no, they don't need to talk to nobody. They need to sit in there by themselves. He looks crazy sitting over there with his bald headed self. He looks cuckoo. They don't need to deal with their children at all if they're in a safe place, because the push for that is to intimidate. The prosecution ain't crazy. It's just that they can't say, like you said, they can't say everything, but they're trying to intimidate their own kids. Because who else could help them with doing what they did but those who lived in the house? I understand.
They're wanting to get as much information that they can. Yes. Who spoke? Which child was it that said what? And you know what? That judge can overrule that, even though that these are your kids. Guess what? If you are charged with, they got to protect the kids.
Yes, they do.
Here's the law. With everything else going on, I expect that judge to say, until we get this handled, the kids are in protective custody, and you don't get to look at them. You don't get to know where they are. Because we don't know if you're going to try to send somebody to take them out, because you're looking at being in prison for the rest of your life. So I don't care if it's through Zoom. No, you don't get to see the kids. Your family don't get, you done already seen them. And you know what? They've already noticed that they've already tried to intimidate them.
Exactly.
They've already seen that. Even already through when they have visitation with some kind of
Mediator.
Somebody monitoring the situation or whatever. They might have to do it at the police station, or they have somebody just sitting there and watching you while you play with the kids and talk to the kids. And every now and then you look at them and say, well, so. And then we don't know if that person is like what's come said. She talking in Spanish, talking in English,
Right.
or whatever.
Right.
Or you can come to the side and say, you know what I done told you.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
We know how to look at kids
and the look.
Yeah.
The thing is, if you're not a child psychologist that can observe the body language of a child, and you're just a police officer, I'm not saying just, but they don't have the in-depth to watch the child tenses up. It don't have to be that the mother says anything. Just to bring them in their presence.
Yeah.
Is the intimidation I'm speaking about.
Right.
Like, when you would be in the store, your mother told you before we at home, and she giving instructions. Don't ask me for nothing. Don't run off from me. You know what will happen. So you get in the store, and for a brief second,
get the cutting up.
You get right. So, and then she just look at you, and in your mind, you remember all of what she said at the house. So all they want to do is, they might not say, but how you doing? And the look is like, you better not have said nothing.
That look.
Because
and the look don't even have to be abused kids. I mean, I don't think that I was abused as far as my, being disciplined to not do this, not do that. But, when mama or whoever, daddy or whatever, when they mean business.
Exactly. And when I went out with other people, if my parents said, listen, you have the right to correct her, but she knows better. And then before I could go with whomever, they called me aside and say, you know what I told you. You don't do this, you don't. And I don't think that has changed. I'm prayerful that the judge will pay attention to the severity of this case. These kids went missing late September, early October.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have this falsification in December that the children are missing. Then you go on about your life as if nothing has happened. And when we look at paperwork, because you're supposed to have documentation, how are you at 30-something years old, mid-30s, able to support 6 kids?
Mm-hmm.
Not 2,
mm-hmm.
not 3, 6 kids.
6. Nobody had a job. Nobody at all had a job.
And y'all in a nice, you moved from an apartment to a nice house.
Right.
And ain't nobody working.
Nobody had a job. No income.
So I'm interested to see what happens in that matter. They don't need to see the kids. They don't need to see nobody. They don't need to see a soul.
They have been sneaking and lying and being mischief this whole entire time. Now they don't want nobody to mess around with their rights. They want to see their kids. And I don't believe they want to see their kids, because I mean, bad people love their kids too. Let's be clear.
I just think it's a whole lot of duplication going on here. They look at the news too in jail. They hear certain things.
Right.
So maybe, let's say they violate our rights, and I just hope they play this right. And I don't mean play like play, but I hope this is done correctly, because I would hate that these two things.
I don't even think it's even fair to let them hear mama and daddy's voice.
Right.
Because it can be the voice too. You know what I'm saying? But is that legal?
Probably not, and that's why here's the thing. I believe that especially Jacqueline's lawyer. She's gonna fight for her now that they're separated. She's going to eventually push everything on him.
Right.
She may not testify against him, but she's going to tell her lawyer everything that went on. That it was him, and she was afraid of him. Here's the thing, man, how can I raise 6 kids, no job, neither one, not even a part-time job, and I got a house, I'm driving a car, and then when we saw them prior to the night that they were in a Winnebago, a mobile home.
Mm-hmm. It was a raggedy one, though.
I don't care. You still had gas money.
Right.
You still living. You are still acting as if nothing is wrong. You weren't worried about seeing your kids then.
Right.
Were you seeing,
They were seeing their kids.
So here's the thing. Maybe that's the problem.
They were seeing their kids 2 times a week for 10 months.
Maybe one of the kids said something then. Maybe one of the kids is like, I don't want to see them. I'm scared. See, Miss West want to make sure she get in there. Well, if they let me go saying, no. I still say grandma something should be done with that too, but
Well, I don't know how they're gonna do it, but I'm pretty sure it could be done. But what if they're going to do it? Because see, just because you make an allegation and you charge someone, they're innocent until proven guilty.
That's true.
So therefore, they still have the rights to have visiting, their children and this and that. That's what they were saying in that little article. They were saying even though that they're in jail or whatever, they still get their visitation rights. And that's what they're fighting for, and that's what they're wanting.
But then nobody can see Warner Norris and Classic Instance here. But you think you're supposed to see your kids, those kids, your other kids. But nobody has seen those kids, and they were yours too. Right. Why don't you tell us where they are?
Right.
And I'll be okay with you saying the ones that we named. Tell us where those 2 little boys are.
Right.
I just, this case is very troublesome to me, because when you look around, everybody's mimicking. I haven't seen them. I woke up in the middle of the night. If another person says that, I think I'll just scream forever. I would just lay down and scream, because every time we turn around, we hear the same story. I checked on them at 2 in the morning, got up at 9, and we were gone.
You know what? And I don't know who's paying for the home, who's doing what. I'm pretty sure their brother is taking care of that business and mom is. But I look at it like this. To be honest with you, I look at it like this. Check this out. Think about it like this. If you had kids, and I had kids, young kids, 10 years old or whatever, and our kid, and we went to jail. Let's just say we stole some ice cream, and we went to jail. You know what? It's not really my job to come bring kids to you while you in jail and all this other stuff. The kids is in protective custody of them because of them. So nobody else has the right to come get the kids and say, okay, the kids is in protective custody. We're not giving the kids to the family. Now, if you was out here, yeah, you got all rights for visitation, but you're not out. You're in jail for murder. And you had these kids coerced into something, or we don't know. But the kids have spoken on it. So therefore, the witness protection should cover the children. You shouldn't get no rights to go see them. I don't care if they're your kids. I don't care if they're your mama. You don't get the rights. You're in jail. You're in jail until we can get this covered up and taken care of. And then the other kid, this is what I wanted to say. The other kids that they adopted, they need to go back, and the judge needs to reverse that decision, and they can do that. They can go in there and reverse that. Judges don't like to do that. They barely will do that, but the judge that initiated this needs to go in there, and because the kids is still at an age where they can be adopted to a family that will love them. They're going to already have trauma, but they need to go ahead and reverse that, because here's the thing. You guys lied to get the kids. You had no money to get the kids. Therefore, it's almost like a contract. The contract is no good.
Right.
When you lie on a contract, that means it's voided the contract out. So take the kids, especially, I'm not talking about the biological ones, but the ones that are adopted out, and take them and put them back in the system so they can, because they're at an age right now. This court proceedings can last 3, 4, 5 years.
Right.
What are they going to do with these kids?
And they have been traumatized. They need some serious, what do you call it? They need counseling, not just
Exactly.
adopted ones, but his kids too.
Like she said, null and void. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. And so the judge needs to look at that. Like, okay, your obligation to these children, that right there, just the investigation, how you get these kids, you had to lie. And who helped you lie? Like you were saying, who helped you lie? And how you get nothing but all these boys? You just wanted boys. And you know what? I hate to say this. I really do hate to say this, but I say 9 times out of 10, you guys, I kid you not, there's some nasty stuff going on, them wanting them nothing but them boys.
nothing but boys. Yeah.
See, I think Jacqueline wasn't going to have another girl in her house. She just ain't going to do that.
Nope.
So she thought it was safe haven having these boys. Nasty is nasty.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, when I think about it, I get mad.
I do too.
They better be glad they wasn't Mike. Because I would be in jail right now. I really would. And I thank God. I do. I thank God that they're not my kids, my grandkids. I thank God they're not, because
I agree.
I would go to jail
right there.
on some little bitty stuff and meet her right there in jail.
Mm-hmm. I still can.
Girl.
Cell right next to it
and be done not give them my name, and they be done put girl, and she be, you know what I'm saying? They be like, who are you, girl? I be done ran over somebody or something, and driving down the street, and they be like, well, you ain't got no ID, so we just gonna lock you up because you ain't got no ID. I'm like, cool, just do what you got to do. I'll be drunk, high, whatever. Girl, I'm gonna be in jail. I'm going to be in jail. It will not be nice. It would not be nice.
And I just believe that I even always thought, I'm getting ready to say something that I thought about a long time ago. Mm-hmm. I believe the biological mother encountered him, not her, in his dealings, because we know I do believe that. I'm not saying at one point I thought he was the father of one of the boys, but I took that out of the equation. But in his travels around the city, getting his little whatever, I believe he encountered her. And, somehow or another, she talked in her, being high. She talked about her little boys. And, he picked up on it. And then he I won't say courted her in the sense of dating her, but they in the system, I can help you out. I just don't think their hand, the brother act like he in the politics, but I don't think they have that much weight in that area that they could buy the system out. I think somehow or another he was able to get from the mother. I don't know why. I just her downtrodden at the time, and I'll get your kids for you. I'll keep them, and the thing led to another, and he probably took it back to his wife. I was talking to so and so, and she doing kind of rough. I went to school with her, or I did whatever, and that's because I just don't know of a system that people unemployed, no job, could move to the top of the line and adopt kids.
Well,
so you telling me that the system itself is broke? That any Joe Blow on the street can pretend that they have a castle on the hill and go get some kids?
Well, in California you can.
Yeah, I guess you can.
In California is
in Cali.
You move to Cali, you can, girl, you can live large off of all these kids. You go,
off some children.
Yeah, some children, and you know what? You don't have to pay rent, and the only thing you have to do is just go and say, "I want some kids," and then you go get some kids, and then they'll pay you to watch them kids, and you get your new car and get your new houses and stuff, and then people loan you money for free. All this is just some crap.
And everything. Well, I know for certain, SP, here where I am in the DMV area, you have to go through classes to just be a foster parent.
Yeah.
A foster, I didn't say adopted. So then, and why even though they have.
That's everywhere. That's everywhere.
If something comes up in that household, guess what they're going to do? The first time something happens in that household, that child that you are attempting to foster, if the house catch on fire, if somebody's fight in the house, guess what happens? That child, you may have 5 other kids there. That particular child, if they in the system, comes out the house immediately.
Right.
Now I know someone who took their it was like your story, took their brother's child, kept the child. Was in the process, had to go through the classes and everything. Was in the process of adopting. All the child had to do, if the person told her that she had to go to bed at 9 o'clock and she didn't like that, she text her or call her social worker and say, she abusing me.
Yep.
2 days later, guess what happened? They knocking on the door.
Right.
This ain't something somebody told me. I know this firsthand.
Oh yeah,
okay?
I know.
And I'm like, I tell you what, it ain't that, you don't.
That's when they're in foster. Yeah. That's when they're in foster care.
So I'm thinking, how you get from being in foster care, you skipped foster and went straight to adoption.
Well, when the kids come up, I know usually when a child come up on the list to be adopted, there's already kids on the list, but it usually take about, the minimum is 2 years. I've seen it within 2 years.
Was out of their life for 2 years?
No, not out of their life, but having completed everything within 2 years. When they say a long process, it could be a long process. It all depends on if the parents is trying and doing things and showing some kind of
And that's when she should have just tucked her head down and not tucked.
No, that's when she should have got an attorney. Yeah, she should have got an attorney. And I mean, hey, she should have got an attorney and went to work and went to work and back home and got her attorney and said, hey, and the family should have all came together, put the nickels and dimes and quarters together and got an attorney and said, look, we'll be paying you until our kids is in college, but hey, we want we want our child. You know what I'm saying? We want that baby.
Not only that, tell the father. I mean, hey, listen.
I don't
I'm
know.
having a hard time right now. Can you take
I mean,
for me, please?
That's kind of like you know how when they say hindsight.
Yeah, hindsight. I get it, but I'm just saying, you know, and now I can't. I'm not say can. I can't imagine her thought process. You know, like the father is trying to benefit from, excuse me, the loss of his children, but and I understand that you are angry, but the whole thing is everybody just failed the baby. I mean, did she ever tell you that you were the father? Did you ever ask her where we were kids? I have so many, you know, back end questions. And then what were you two little, the 10 people doing with these kids? That now 2 babies that were not yours. Why didn't you kill your own kids? Or why didn't you do something to your own children? Excuse me. I'm not going to allegedly. But why didn't you do something to your own kids?
Right. Mm.
And if you realize that you couldn't meet the qualifications of what was being asked of you, like you said, one, reach out to a family member. Hey, I need help. I need to go into a program. It's going to take me a year to 2 years to really whatever. But because when we look at this family, we see people now saying, you know, we would have, basically they would have helped.
Well, you know, CPS, you know, they have a really hard job, and sometimes they can, you know, they're going to get spoken about in a bad way. They make it. It's not the whole system, but there is some systems they're overworked, underpaid, not enough workers, and then they don't, like I say, they don't pay that well. So some people, you know, they need to be accountable for making mistakes on these kids' lives, because they should have been doing home checks and home studies. And when, let me tell you something else. And somebody was asking about Wanda, and yeah, it was noted that she did have some years in the social uh area as profession, but I don't know. She spoke on it herself and said that it wasn't just somebody just said it. She said it herself that she worked in the but she did that years and years ago. And okay, I would love to hear your story one day, real soon. Shalana, I think that was Shalana. But you know, they're supposed to do certain things when they adopt a kid out, or even fostering children out. You know that?
Yeah, they are.
And evidently they have not been doing it. Okay, this is what I wanted to share with you before. Thank you, Lord. They have to show their income, not just right now today, but what that income has been for the last 2 years, 3 years.
I thought so.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Then they get here they call it KBI. I don't know. Maybe it's CBI in California. It's usually your state Bureau of Investigation. So it may be CBI there. I don't know. But then they go through all of that you don't got no, you've never been arrested, any felonies and things of that nature. But let me tell you something. All of this stuff, because those kids got an attorney. Those kids got an attorney. Mm-hmm. Okay? So when they go in front of the judge, they're not just sitting there talking to the judge. Those attorneys, whatever the CPS come up with, and see the attorney, the advocate, the person that advocate for the children, the attorney for the children, ain't got nothing to do with CPS. Most of the time, they don't even work for CPS. 9 times out of 10, they're volunteers.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? They called CASAs and CASA something. I can't remember what all that stuff is. I used to know about all that stuff, and people was talking to me about it. But they will come to, like I said, they'll come to your home. They have to gather all this information. You got to show them how much money you done made for the last 2, 3 years, 4 years, what you've been doing your whole entire life. They don't want to know just in the last 2 years, your whole entire life. And do you have any problems with, your mother and your father and your brothers and your sisters and your cousins and your uncles, and who are they, and da 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 da. They come to your house and they do a home study. They want to check out the square yard footage of your home to see if you even got enough room for these kids. Then they want to make sure you got beds. Then they want to make sure you got food. Then they want to make sure this, that, and the other. But I'm going to tell you something. This is where they drop the ball. You can set it up like that, just like when you're trying to sell a house. You go put pillows and stuff in the house and everything. And then people come and look at the house, say, oh, I want the house. And then they leave. You take all the stuff out. But how in the world could you show that you got income? Because that has to not only CPS, but that got to go through that attorney for them children, and then to the judge.
So that means somebody with a doctor and papers work for you. Okay.
Yeah. You're not the only that stuff is not just for CPS to go, oh, we're just gonna say this and we're gonna say that.
Right. So you had help getting these kids, and I think Van hit on that earlier, or spoke about that earlier, should I say. This is a more bigger picture than we really know about.
I don't even know why they didn't charge them for fraud in getting them kids.
Not only them, but the other two.
Mm-hmm.
The other two.
Right.
Because they're not that far in age. So, and check his mental capability. What is his appetite for? And you get what I'm saying. What kind of appetite do you have? Because everyone in the house, you have your own biological boys, and then you went down for more.
Right. Someone said their income was the ice cream shop.
Ice cream shop. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, they didn't put the ice cream shop down when they was trying to get that house. That would have been the perfect place to say that was some income.
He said he was a rapper or upcoming
rapper or singer, right? Or something?
Something like that. He was in music. Okay. Ice cream shop. Okay.
Right.
All right. Well, SB, I thank you for allowing me to come up as always. I enjoyed talking with you, and we'll see how this is going to play out. I really hope that the prosecution is able to present a strong case that will keep these two people where they are.
Right. People in the chat saying he was going to sell beats.
Okay, thank you. I knew it was something pertaining to music, as I recall back. But he was going to sell beats. Okay, he wasn't selling beats. He was going to. So again, how if you're going to do something, how does that substantiate you taking on 6 kids?
Right.
Or having, let's just say, four additional kids to go to.
Right. I don't know.
So maybe she was home sitting, home care or something. I don't know.
Right.
I really don't care about what they were doing. It's just, or none of it makes sense that you had 6, now it's only 4, and you have the right to want certain rights, and you won't say what happened to. Okay, you have the right to say you're innocent, but you don't want to just say, you know, this happened with those kids, or and take the punishment, or whatever the case is, and you've involved these babies.
Right.
So, yeah. Well, again, thank you for allowing me to come up, and have a good evening.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right. I did get your message, Candace. I just seen it pop up. I hope you guys were in the chat, speaking, talking to each other, sharing whatever information that you have with the people in the comment section. I was trying to read as I was going. And she said, like I said, MMA fights between those boys. Yeah, that's what I believe too. I believe that too. Yes, I sure do. I don't know all the information, and there's all kind of different information out there, you guys. And so we'll keep watching, and you guys, thank you for making sure the family that shared that with me today. Thank you. You know, especially when you know everybody's interested and want to know what's going on. I want to thank Zan for coming up here, Woke the God, and Betty for calling in. Could have made bets on the fights. Yeah, could have. Somebody even told me one day that maybe his biological boys were losing the fights. And so he was getting mad at the other ones. I don't know. I mean, we can all assume, and I don't want to assume because they're in jail right now. I don't know. I have no clue of when we hear the information, when they come out with the information while they in there, I'm pretty sure all of our thing will be, our mouths will be open. You guys understand what I'm saying? All right, I'm going to get on off of here. I will see you guys Friday at 5 p.m. Central Time. Please make sure you have your face in the place, you guys. I will try to keep you guys updated. I sure will. All right. You guys be good, be safe, and be nice to each other. Bye.
Tanika Shanetta, the plus-size doll. Do you like to shop online but hesitate because of the uncertainty about sizing and the quality of some items? Have you came across an outfit that you love to rock, but girl, you want to know more about the company and how their items run first? I get it. Check out Tanika Shanetta, the plus-size doll on YouTube for the latest updates in plus-size fashion and styles. She does the reviews that you can use. Timing is of the essence, but she will reach out to any company if she's not already signed with them. And get that item or a similar item to try it on first and provide that honest review on sizing, quality, and shipping. She does it all, and often can get a discount code exclusively for her subscribers. So subscribe now and shop with confidence, knowing if you would size up, size down, or true to size. She also reviews wigs, bundles, hair products. Like I said, she does it all. Measurements are in the description, as well as the contact information for business inquiries or collabs. So subscribe today to be a part of the dollhouse where everything is big, bold, and beautiful. The link is in the description box down below.